repeat itself, but it often rhymes. This quote is important to understand the background and the history of the New World Order. The New World Order was a term which was first coined by the American President Woodrow Wilson and the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. According to them, the New World Order referred to a period in history which was characterized by global collective initiatives to balance out the new imbalance of power that had taken place because of the World War I and the World War II. This led to various manifestations of international organizations like the League of Nations, the United Nations, the WTO, etc. All of these had one common aim, and that aim was to prevent any further global conflicts by resorting to collective enthusiasm by all nation states to arrive at conciliations and mediations. However, another thing that these bunch of wars led to was the shift from unipolarity to multipolarity. Now, every nation state had its own agenda to strengthen its own self. Nations had their own spine, and they were working upon themselves and forming various alliances to strengthen themselves. This is something that is also called as the age of renegotiation. Nations decided to renegotiate their own alliances. This is something that led to the global alliances formation, that is, alliances like the ASEAN, the SAARC, the European Union, BRICS, and so forth. Some of these were a success, while the rest are failure. If you look at the most successful ones of these, then we'll see that, for example, BRICS, these all alliances have a philosophy which is rather termed to be anti-Western hegemony. The Western hegemony is something which was something not promised but automatically manifested when all these international organizations were formulated. The US had an undefined say in all global politics and power plays. For example, the imposition of sanctions and the use of military via these international organizations are just few examples of these. Recently, the US had imposed sanctions upon Iran, which is something that led to closer ties between the China and the Iran. Well, this was a counter effect of this imposition of hegemony. We must notice that China is a global emerging economy. So now, the global emerging economies have a spine to counter this paradigm which had been going on since too long. And this is something that the US realizes. Therefore, recently the US revoked sanctions imposed on Syria in order to have better power plays and better friendly relations with the Gulf countries, that is Saudi Arabia and so forth. However, the US has also done one more thing, which is stepping back from its traditional role of being the security guard of the world. For example, the US formulated the WHO, however, they also stepped back from it. This leaves a gap in the global politics. Therefore, something begins. This something is known as the Great Games. The Great Games to ride upon the throne. India's stand on this is very clear since the very beginning. We have our own terms and conditions. According to Dr. Jaishankar, India is non-West, but it is not anti-West. Therefore, we look forward to strategize our own ideas and goals in order to strengthen our own self. This can be defined by our participation in the Quad and the BRICS at the same time. According to my personal belief, the system of the world is self-organizing, that is, it heals itself. We have seen that the world has gone from a rather communist to a capitalist, and now it is slowly getting back towards a